Have been mandated by the Nigerian National Assembly to present a response to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's speech delivered yesterday at the 69th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. In response to the call by the President of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU Right Honorable Tulia Axen, to hear both sides of the matter, I have received a letter from the Nigerian Senate in my capacity as the chairman of the House Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development of our Parliament in Nigeria, and the parliamentarian representing Nigeria at this conference. In the spirit of transparency and fairness, I now wish to read this letter from the Senate in its entirety, and it is crucial that all perspectives are heard and that all aspects of the situation are duly considered. And the next voice you'll be hearing from here will be the voice of the Senate leader of the Senate, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, CON, the leader of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan was suspended for gross misconduct and unruly behavior, and not as a result of allegation of sexual harassment or assault. The authority of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria firmly rebukes the deliberate misinformation and false narratives being circulated by certain media organizations regarding the six-month suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Let it be unequivocally stated that Senator Uduaghan was suspended solely for a persistent act of misconduct, blatant disregard for the provisions of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended, and gross indiscipline, nothing more, nothing less. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. It has come to the attention of the Senate that some media reports are attempting to falsely suggest that Senator Uduaghan's suspension was due to allegations of sexual harassment. This is completely untrue, misleading, and a calculated attempt to distort the facts. If Senator Uduaghan had strictly followed our guiding principles, the Senate would have treated her petition based on merit in line with its practice, but she never obeyed the established practices of the institution where she was serving. The facts of the suspension. This is still the voice of the Senate leader. Senator Uduaghan's suspension was a decision of the Committee of the Whole Senate, following the submission of a report by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges. The report found her guilty of violating sections 6.1 and 6.2 of the Senate rules and recommended her immediate suspension. The disciplinary action was a response to her repeated violations of legislative decorum, including 1. Refusing to sit in her assigned seat during plenary on the 25th February 2025, despite multiple pleas from the leadership and other ranking senators, an act of open defiance and disorderly conduct. 2. Speaking without being recognized by the presiding officer in clear violation of parliamentary practices and procedures on the 25th February 2025. 3. Engaging in unruly and disruptive behavior, obstructing the orderly conduct of Senate proceedings. 4. Making abusive and disrespectful remarks against the leadership of the Senate. 5. Defying and refusing to comply with the summons of the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges mandated to investigate cases of misconduct. These actions represented a direct challenge to the authority of the Senate and a violation of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended that govern the business of the Senate and the conduct of its members. The disciplinary measure was therefore necessary and justified to restore order and uphold the integrity of the Senate of the country's foremost democratic institution. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. On the petition and allegations, contrary to the false claims being circulated, Senator Uduaghan was not suspended for making any sexual harassment or for submitting a petition. Her petition was rightfully discountenanced because it failed to meet the clear and established procedural requirements for submitting petitions to the Senate. The rules of the Senate apply to all members without exception, and no petition, regardless of its subject, can be considered if it does not follow due process. To suggest that a suspension was linked to a petition is not only a distortion of facts, but an intentional and malicious attempt to mislead the public. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. Condemnation of misleading media reports. The Senate strongly condemns the irresponsible and unethical reporting by some media organizations that have deliberately twisted the facts to suit a false narrative. This coordinated misinformation campaign is nothing more than an attempt to politicize a disciplinary action that was strictly based on clear violations of Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended. It is reckless, misleading, and a disservice to the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the whole world who deserve truthful and factual reporting. We therefore urge all foreign correspondents and responsible media houses to correct these misrepresentations and avoid propagating falsehood that undermine the integrity of Nigeria's legislative process. This is still the voice of the leader of the Senate. Conclusion. The Senate remains committed to upholding discipline, order, and parliamentary ethics. No senator, I repeat, no senator, regardless of status, gender, or political affiliation, is above the rules of the Senate. Senator Uduaghan's suspension was a direct consequence of her actions and nothing else. We urge the public and the media to disregard any false reports suggesting otherwise and to always seek the truth before spreading politically motivated narratives. Signed, Senator Bamidele Okweyemi, CON, Leader of the Senate, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.